Thank you, Andy. First of all, I want to say I'm deeply honored to be here this afternoon. I want to thank Andy Kahn. I want to thank parents of murdered children. I want to thank each and every one of you. I don't want to sound like an old hair club commercial, but I'm not just here today as an officer. I'm also a father. I'm also a member of parents of murdered children. So today I will try and keep it brief. I will try not to bore you and tell you my story and tell you about the work that Andy Kahn and the parents of murdered children do and how they have helped us through this journey. A few years ago, on May 13th, 2006, my son, Bruce Caldwell Jr., left home with a neighbor's child who happened to be 21 years old. The neighbor had asked him to go to Walmart with him, so it wasn't unusual. Bruce Jr. got in the car with him and they drove off. At some point when they were on West Belford, this young man pulled a 10.5-inch butcher knife from underneath the seat and stabbed Bruce Jr. in the chest. A fight ensued in the car at that point. Somehow Bruce Jr. managed to remove the knife. They wrecked the vehicle into a mailbox. Somehow my son managed to get out of that car. And he looked around for help. And just down the street he saw an AutoZone. And he saw people in there, so he tried to make it to the AutoZone. He got out of the car and he started to run toward the AutoZone. He got about halfway there and collapsed in the street. While he lay there in the street on West Belford, a couple of young ladies drove up on him lying in the street, and they stopped to help him. As they got out and started to call him for 911 to try and get him help, they didn't know what had happened to him. They just saw him lying in the street face down. All of a sudden, some of the people that had witnessed this in the AutoZone started yelling, "Look out, he's coming!" And they looked up as one of the ladies was holding my son and telling him he would be okay, that, you know, they were there, they were going to get him help. She looked up over her shoulder, and here was this young man that he was with coming with a butcher knife. Calmly walked down the street to where Bruce Jr. was, and these, afraid for their own safety, the ladies retreated across the street to where the AutoZone was. And they yelled at him, "We see you, we see your face, we recognize you." And it didn't matter. Bruce Jr. was lying face down in the street, and he walked up to Bruce Jr. He stabbed him 6 more times in the back. He lifted his head up and he cut his throat. And he threw the knife down and just calmly walked away. Of course, there were plenty of witnesses there that saw everything. The police arrived, and of course he was arrested sometime the next day. But folks, I can't begin to tell you, and most of you here, I don't have to tell you, you all have experienced what I'm about to tell you. In a matter of days, I lost 12 pounds. My wife lost weight. My daughter lost weight. I could not sleep for 3 weeks. We couldn't do anything. And even though this young man was arrested, he was promptly released. He wasn't supposed to come back near the house or near the school. He and my daughter both went to University of Houston downtown. While he was out, he showed up at the school. So that prompted a quick call to the Houston Police Department to get over there and get him away from there, which they did. But to tell you what really happened, this young man, he finally went to court on this case. And I know this is really sad to say, but I feel lucky. I feel lucky that we were actually able to catch him and to go to court. I know there are many of you out there that your cases are unsolved, and many are waiting to still go to court. So we're very, very fortunate with that. And I understand that. The trial lasted 3 weeks. I want to tell you all something. The very first day when we got to court, one of the first people that we saw there were representatives from the parents of murdered children. Throughout this whole ordeal, we were introduced to the parents of murdered children. We went to a meeting, and I can tell you folks, it is the only place, not only then, but even now, that I can go to, and my family can go, and we don't have to say a word because everyone in the room knows exactly how we feel. There's not a day that you don't hurt. There's not a day that you want to get out of bed. And people will tell you, get over it. And what I usually tell them is, that was my son. He's not a goldfish. You don't get over it. You learn to live with it, but you don't get over it. Being a part of the parents of murdered children, I can't begin to stop singing the praises of belonging to the group. It was so therapeutic for both myself and my family. And folks, I don't mind telling you, I've been a law enforcement officer for 30 years. A large portion of that was spent as a detective. I've investigated many homicides. Never, ever thought in my wildest dreams that me and my family would be a victim of that. And none of that mattered. All of the experience does not prepare you for what happens when you're a victim. And I know I'm a big guy and you see the uniform, but I'm a parent first. And I grieve every day just like each of you. We go to the meetings of parents of murdered children. They made us feel like family. They supported us in every way they could. Often, when you're in a grieving process, you hear a lot of hollow words. But I can tell you they weren't hollow. They've been with us every step of the way since that day to this. My family and I are eternally grateful. We will always be members. Through the parents of murdered children, I happened to meet Andy Kahn. And I want to say a few words about Andy. I don't know where he nor the members of parents of murdered children find the strength to put up the fight that they put up all the time. I have never seen Andy when he's not busy, when he's not fighting for something, fighting for victims' rights, fighting for each one of us. And I support him with everything that I have and my family has. I support the parents of murdered children, because I can tell you, I would not be standing here right now if it were not for the efforts of both of those, that organization and Andy Kahn. There is a lot of work left to be done, and I know you guys hear it from Andy all the time because he never looks back. He's always pushing forward. As we all should. It's difficult. We cannot forget, as this is a National Day of Remembrance for everyone's loved one. My heartfelt sympathies go out to each and every one of you that have lost a loved one. I truly know how you feel. And I want to thank you for having me here this afternoon. If I can ever be of service to any of you, please do not fail to call upon me. Thank you.
Now Bruce's family is here as well. If I can just have them stand up so you can see the support that they have as well here. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Now Bruce is right. We've come a long way, and we're very fortunate in Houston that we have 2 chapters. Houston chapter, the Heights chapter. And we have wonderful leadership in both chapters, and I encourage everybody here this evening, if you hadn't met them, contacted them, do so. They're a wealth of information, experience, a shoulder to lean on, and I don't know what we'd be in the city of Houston without that. So I'm going to introduce both ladies that head up the Heights chapter and the Houston chapter to come on up and say a few words as well. Ruth and Gilda.
I'm Ruth Marie Eason, and I'm a chapter leader with the Heights Parents of Murdered Children. And me and Carolyn Hardin are the ones in charge of that chapter. And I just want to thank everybody that's here. And I know that some of you didn't get the notices of the posters that were made, but I put a lot on Facebook, and I communicate as much as I can. And I do want to apologize that this year I did not put the murder wall, or the wall that I bring with all the kids' pictures. I've been having a little bit of problems with my left arm, and I didn't have the help. My granddaughter's got a ball game today. So anyway, I apologize because somebody asked me if we were going to put the wall up, and I just didn't have the help. But I do want to thank everybody that's here, and the ones that did get the posters. I want you to, when you bring and say your loved one's name and get a candle, that the families come together and do that. And like I said, I just here, my daughter and my granddaughter usually sing. I want to thank Lorenzo and his group for bringing the music, and the Saldana family for getting them for us, because I didn't have anybody this time. And, just keep me in your prayers. I was supposed to go to the emergency room, but I did. I told them I had to come here tonight, so just keep me in your prayers that everything's okay, and I'm here for you all. Thank you.